Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So Another Life is a Netflix sci-fi series that I was really anticipating, especially when I saw the first initial trailers and I saw Katee Sackhoff of Battlestar Galactica fame is going to be in there, Selma Blair from the Hellboy movies, Tyler Hoechlin, who plays Superman in the Supergirl series, and also Justin Chatwin, and I remember him from the Dragon Ball Z movie. But anyways, I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty awesome. So now that it's been released, season 1 with 10 episodes, let's go ahead and get into this. And so if I kind of had to explain this series, just think of movies like The Arrival, Independence Day, Aliens, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Inception, Firefly, and the Star Trek series, and throw it all in. And if that sounds confusing, then that's exactly what Another Life is, because it's really confusing. And so the general idea or story of this particular series is that we start off with these aliens coming to Earth, and they built this crystal structure. And there is a scientist, his name is Eric, he's played by Justin Chatwin. His job is to actually figure out why these aliens are here and then try to communicate with them, very similar to the movie Arrival. And then we have our lead character. Her name is Nico, and this is Eric's wife, and this is played by Katee Sackhoff, and she is a captain of a space crew. And so it's actually two different stories. In one case, you have Eric, who's trying to figure out these aliens, these communications, just trying to figure out why they're there, okay? But the whole bulk of the story is actually with Katee, or in this case, Nico, and her crew, and them trying to find out where these aliens sent the signal, and they actually have to go through this planet, to find out what these aliens actually want, and mainly to see whether or not they're good or bad. That's kind of like the whole purpose of it. And that's kind of where I thought, okay, this is going to be pretty cool, because I really love those type of stories, especially when I saw the movie Arrival or movies like Contact, how they did that so well. There's a lot of mystery, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that make you think about, our whole position in the whole universe and so forth. And so I was hoping that that's kind of what we would get, and get a lot of cool sci-fi elements, especially the space exploration, meeting these aliens. And initially you kind of get that, and I was like pretty hooked. And I like how the actual series, they ended off always with like a new thing or a cliffhanger, so it made you want to watch. But as I went on with each episode, so much of the time was, in my opinion, just wasted on space. And not in a good way. Usually if I see stuff in space with special effects, planets, and all this other stuff, I'm like, this is going to be cool. Very similar to like when I'm watching Star Trek or Lost in Space. I always love that part of it. But in this case, it didn't really serve the whole story, because the majority of this whole series is spent on the characters. And you might think, like, why is that a bad thing? Well, it's a bad thing because of the way the characters are written, and the story is really where things kind of fall apart, because the story is very simple, okay? They basically want to find out who these creatures are, whether or not they should be afraid of them, and so forth. It's a very simple premise. And the whole adventure is what actually happens in between, but instead of getting that, we get basically a space opera drama. It's like a soap opera, and not in a good way. And you have all these characters who are very cookie cutter. And I don't blame this on the actors and actresses themselves, because of the story and the characters that were actually written for them. That's why I really feel like the story and characters combined, they felt so predictable, so flat. And a lot of times they just go around talking about stuff that really doesn't serve the story. They get into these stupid arguments. There's lots of cursing for no apparent reason. And there's lots of flashback scenes, specifically with Nico and another character, Cass, and other characters as well, which really do not serve the story. I know they're trying to build up this character, but while they're doing all these things, they're taking away from the whole sci-fi story that I really wanted to know about. I wanted to know about these aliens. Why are they there? What are their plans? And you don't really get much of that until, I would say, near the end. And even near the end, there's really nothing special about it, and it's just really the most, I guess, disappointing thing about it. They're doing all this stuff, building up to something, and you keep hoping that it's going to get better, and unfortunately it doesn't. I hate to say it. Some of the things that I do like about them, just thinking about the positive elements, I think the ideas were great. Some of the special effects were pretty good, and especially some of the world building. I mean, kinda. I thought that was interesting, but all of that goes back to the fact that if they would have spent more time in this particular series on the aliens, exploring who they are, trying to figure out what they are, instead of spending so much time on these characters bickering, having these weird relationships, just stuff that doesn't really add anything to the story. And if I had to say a little bit about the characters, the way they were written in this particular series, honestly, I didn't care about any of them. Even our main lead one, Katee Sackhoff. And actually, about the only character I actually really found interesting was the one that wasn't a human. It was actually William, who is an AI. He was the most interesting character, but yet he's not human, and that's pretty much it. And everything else, I was just bored, sometimes annoyed, and I just wanted to watch all of it because I wanted to see if it's going to get better, and it never did. And so out of the 10 episodes, I could safely say maybe 3 of them, just solid 3, I think were really good. And those are the interesting parts, and those are the ones that focus on the whole alien element. And everything else, absolutely forgettable, which is unfortunate because of all the star power that was there, and where the ideas could have went into a really great place. I think this series could have been pretty sweet, but unfortunately that is not the case. And so if you've actually seen Another Life, let me know some of your thoughts in it. Leave it in the comments area below. And if there's any other sci-fi series that you've actually enjoyed, be sure to leave that in the comments area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.